how to be clean and unclean. Very easy to be unclean and very hard to come to hor. But no, I'm gonna start and you could go later. All right, and so there's so many interesting and there's so many little different. It's fascinating, right? I think it's fascinating, and I think you could study it for quite a long time. And also the story of these men that had tzara'at that were kind of cast out, and they saved the city in a sense. I mean, Hashem saved the city, but they were the messengers, right? And so it just kind of makes you think that Hashem always has a plan. Hashem always has a plan, and we have to be part of it. So anyway, it's so this morning I want to talk about, I guess, usually, I mean, this is not said outright in this text that we read today, but our rabbis have made this connection that this some of the tzara'at, not all of it obviously, but some of the tzara'at is caused by gossiping, like lashon hara, saying evil speech, right? And some of these, and so because of that, then oftentimes when this portion comes around, there's a lot of commentary about evil speech and how you should prevent it, how we can not do it, we shouldn't be doing it, these kind of things. But I want to talk to you about, like, I guess maybe one of the root causes of evil speech, right? One of the root causes of evil speech is not that people are just I mean, there probably are sometimes if someone's mean or something, but oftentimes, I think more often, one of the evil causes of evil speech is just our own insecurities, our own faults. We see our own problems in our own minds and lives, and then we kind of project that on the other people around us. It's not necessarily that we're trying to be malicious, but it just happens, right? There's some things that just happen in our lives and the way we are, And so, well, how can we, what are some things that we can not to prevent this maybe, But first, before we go, let's read in the verse here, what we read today. This shall be the law of the Metzora, the someone who has tzara'at. On the day of his cleansing, he shall be brought to the Kohen. The Kohen has to see what is wrong, right? And mark him as either he has been cleansed, he is tahor, or he's still tameh. And when a person does have tzara'at, he or she is put in isolation. And isolation is oftentimes a time, even today, it causes a self-reflection. It makes you think extra more than you normally would, because you would have other things to do when you're not in isolation. When you're in isolation, all you have to do is think, right? You're just thinking about what's going on, and you have more time to think. And then after the tzara'at, you're isolated, and then you are joined back into the community again. So that maybe that period of isolation is also a time for us or for that person that has tzara'at to, take an account of what they've done, how they are, what could have caused them to have tzara'at, that kind of thing. There could have been a lot of different things that happen while they're in isolation. They can think about, where did that evil speech come from, Another thing we have from the Chofetz Chaim is one who's really talked a lot about lashon hara, and he has a whole book about it. And there's just one little part of this book, and some things we may agree with him in it, and other things we may not. But this part, I think we could all agree. So he said, and the Chofetz Chaim said, "Guard your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." That's coming from Psalms, one of the Psalms, and he he's quoting that, he's grabbing that and sharing it in his book. And so so it really says, turn from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. It's kind of something that you have to do internally and personally, right? And so these are strong words, but I think Yeshua even went, I think, even more, right? He had a lot to say about, I think not a lot, but he had some things to say about this. But one of them that really, might hit home for all of us, right, is in Matthew 12, verse 34 and 35. He said, "For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks." So if whatever is in your heart, if there's a lot of it, your mouth is going to be speaking that. "A good person brings forth good things from the store of good within him, and an evil person brings forth evil things from the store of evil within him." So what does that tell us? We need to store good things in our heart, good thoughts in our heart. And oftentimes, whatever's around us can be stored in our hearts and our minds. Whatever we view, whatever we're spending time doing, that's going to be filling us. You could think of yourself as a pitcher, and whatever things you're reading, doing, witnessing is going to be filling up that pitcher full, right? So if you're filling it up full of good things, it's going to be filled up with good things, and if it's not, you're being filled up with not good things, right? So we want to, fill our hearts for these good things, and it will overflow, right? When you fill yourself full of good things, those things will come out, just like Yeshua said. You're going to share them, right? And we notice, we see around us, we see, when we're talking to our children and they're, telling us about the, I don't know, whatever thing they read or saw, that's what they're telling us about. They don't tell us about things that they don't know about, or they've only spent a short amount of time about them. Someone who listens to a lot of music starts singing the songs, right? And we see this around in our own home, and we've lectured the children. You guys are singing too many secular songs. That means you're listening to too many secular songs. So you need to switch that up. You need to start listening to more spiritual songs, and so that you are singing more spiritual songs, and it's really true. We've seen it happen in our own home, right? So we know this happens. So what can we do? What can we do to, what are some practical things that we can do? So Rabbi Avraham, one of our, I don't know if I don't know which Rabbi Avraham. I have to go find it. But there's a Rabbi Avraham who shares this idea of a way that we can have better speech, good speech instead of evil speech. And he said, so one thing is what we do. We do this. It's kind of a daily thing. We wake up, kind of a meditation. When you wake up, first you want to imagine that God has this unlimited storehouse of goodness, right? Which we believe He does, right? God has unlimited goodness, and He can fill us up with this goodness and fill us up with this love. So first we have to imagine that Hashem has this, and He wants to give it to us, and we have to just think about that. And even you can read the Psalm. That this happens. If you need more proof, you can read some Psalms. You can go in the Torah. You can go in the Parshat. There's lots of sources where you can see how much Hashem loves us and cares about us and wants to fill us up with goodness. Okay, then we talk to ourselves. We go specifically to ourselves that we might find things that are hard to accept, something about us that we may be ashamed of or unhappy with, and think about those things, and then think about how Hashem wants to help us with those things, right? That He's going to fill us up full. And these things that we have that are bad about ourselves, we might project those negative, these insecurities, these bad things that we have in ourselves. We might project those onto others. So when we know that Hashem loves us and cares about us, and He wants to help us with these things, and He wants us to overcome these things. And so we have to be, accepting that Hashem is going to do this for us, and we have to mentally think about it and really know He's going to overcome this. And then from this place of acceptance, of that Hashem is going to help you, then you won't be projecting these things on others. And because you love yourself, you're being filled with all this goodness and love, and I think we as believers in Yeshua HaMashiach, we have even that extra love that he shares with us, and we see this in our lives. So we share this love that Yeshua, we let our hearts get filled up with this love from Yeshua, or about the story, about what we know that Yeshua has done for us. And then we share that. So, we share it first with those around us immediately. And then we may share it with strangers. And then we might even, hopefully the goal is to even be able to share, to think about, share this love, even with those who may not love us, who we may judge, who we may not like. And that's what Yeshua did too. And he teaches that, right? It says, even love the stranger, love your neighbor, and then love the stranger, and then even love your enemy. And so these are steps. These are things that happen. So every morning, meditate. What part of myself, think about what what part of myself am I unwilling to accept, and what part of myself am I ashamed of, or I want to change, and what could that be? How can I be projecting that on other people? So you think about that, and then you think about, meditate on Hashem, meditate on Yeshua every morning, and then you'll be filled with this love, and be filled with knowing that Hashem created you and wants the best for you, and wants to help you overcome any issues that you may have, and also wants to help those around you. And then he will use you, right? Because you'll be filled full of him. So hopefully you will notice some changes, and let us. Let each other know. Like, I've been doing this. I've been meditating on Hashem's goodness. And the other day I was about to say something negative, and I changed my tune. I changed my tune, and I said, instead of saying something negative, I maybe held my tongue. I didn't say it, or maybe even went further, and instead of saying negative, I actually said something positive. Right? Instead of what I was going to say negative, I thought, well, what's something that I could say positive instead? Whatever. And so let me know. If this change has helped you change the way you're speaking around the house, around work, around wherever you are, and hopefully it does. So maybe if we do this daily, we can help bless our families within our families, bless our community together, and we'll be maybe known as a community that says positive things. That's that'd be an awesome thing to be known for, right? So let us do that. So that's my little message. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody.